my jeweler number, June 24th, 2002. And my training show was actually July 24th of 2002, 1 month later. But I was in love with Premier from the beginning. As most of you know, I came out of the gate pretty strong. My first week in Premier, I matched my full-time income. Made more my first week in Premier than I did at the hospital. I was enamored with Premier. I continued to do 2 to 3 shows a week for probably about the first 2 years of my business. So I was doing about 10 to 12 shows every single month. I had my own club at training, just like Diane, when I attended my mama's training. But I was in love with Premier, and really up until this fall, when people, when you're signing prospects and they say, if you had to say one bad thing, what would it be? I really didn't have anything. I really couldn't tell you anything. My business has always been consistent. I've never had to get on the phone and call for bookings because I've always had a consistent business. I've always made sure that I did at least 5 to 6 shows every single month. So when this fall came around, it was a totally different story for me, and I did fall out of love real quick. I had sponsored a few jewelers right in a row at the beginning of the summer last year, and I gave 8 bookings to those jewelers to get started because I had booked those shows that really these 2 shows where these girls signed up. So it took 8 bookings right off my calendar, literally wiping out my summer calendar. And every time I would get my calendar back to where I wanted it, I would sponsor again. And I know this is a good problem to have. Some of you are going, well, yeah, I don't really feel sorry for you. But I could not get my calendar back to that solid place where I like to have it. And every time I would get it there, I would sponsor, and it would literally wipe out my calendar all over again. So I felt like I literally was starting my business over every single month, and I had not been in this place before. By October, I was getting a little desperate. So I was really happy when Stephanie shared with us the fundraising idea that we did last fall. I thought, you know what, I really hadn't thought of that or pursued that, so that was an avenue I was going to go. I thought it would be really easy for me. I was listening to everybody say, I got a fundraiser with this, I got a fundraiser with that. Cindy called me the next day and said, I got 3 fundraisers lined up. I'm like, great. I have nothing. I got nothing. And the more people I called, the more people, I told them I would give them everything. This is where I was at. I'll give you everything. I'm not keeping a dime. No thanks. Yeah. To the point where I'm like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was really getting kind of crazy. I did end up booking 2 fundraisers for October. One for the Juvenile Diabetes Association, which was an old jeweler of mine and her sister. It was one of their sons and nephew. And then also I booked a fundraiser for another girl. Who was the other one that I booked? One for an old jeweler and then one for juvenile diabetes. That's right. At the fundraiser for my old jeweler, I booked 5 shows for November. I told them if they booked in November, I would give half of the profit from that to, they all knew this family, so they were all willing to do it. I announced, I'm like, look how much we're going to continue to raise. I'm like, okay, I'm back on the beam. 5 shows for November, here we go. By the end of that show, the old jeweler wanted to sign back up. There goes my November. I now have nothing. Goodbye, 5 bookings.